my goodness, that's not the one I wanted. There we go. I switched from my computer decided that we were going to only output at 720p when it went on my brand new awesome computer, and I said, well, my internet must be terrible. But my old laptop that I've been streaming from for the last couple of times to do the pinball live streams at 1080p, and that's on Wi-Fi. So if that can do that at 1080p, obviously I can bump this up to 1080p. So I'm just getting everything set up, and when I popped on the on-screen, it was the wrong on-screen, and it made it, smaller. Anyways, hi guys, Michael B. the Game Genie here, and it's time for Chill and Chat with Michael B. So excited to see everybody here in the chat. I see Shotgun Sean, Brad O'Connell, Adam12, Hollywood Polo, Tony G. Oh, hold on, I gotta bring the actual chat up here. I saw Kev Gret in there earlier, Rexer a long time ago. Your Average Gamer, I know, Boo. I don't have the games on Steam. Last time I didn't have Attack from Mars on Steam. I bought like the Steam Season 1 pass just to jump on with you guys. All right, who else do we got here? We got Mr. Chip. Congratulations on your Star Wars pinball pre-order. I actually got my shipping for my Star Wars pinball today as well. Zero Hero, still want to know who gave the video 2 thumbs down. Already hadn't. I don't know, man. Nothing I can do about it. Got to give P-Dubs time to shower. Always got to give P-Dubs time to shower. His cleanliness is questionable at the best of times. All right. What's up, everyone? Jeffrey Witt, Michael Sanchez, Hollywood Polo. How are you, my brother? Chosen One, To Die For, Bobby Vu. All right. So, guys, I even made a list and everything because I'm a professional dude. I did it on an old script, which I think is the script for my Gene G. Good evening. It's the old script for my Attack from Mars review I just did. Yeah, I am hooked. I love these Arcade1Up pins. Told the story. Jurassic Park is on sale for $5 now. I'll have to check that out, Polo. So, obviously, I bought Attack from Mars. There was, since day one, I was going to get that. And then I got FOMO real bad, and I bought Marvel as well, and kind of fell in love with that. So, of course, after just a couple days experiencing them, I went out and bought Star Wars too. So, I've got all 3 of the Arcade1Up pins. Today, we're going to talk about the future. Hello, WKRP in Cincinnati. Today, we're going to talk about the future of Arcade1Up Pinball. And I know some people, Jolly Green, how are you? Ryan Gerber, Mike Dennis. I know some people, when I posted this, were like, what do you mean the future? Like, a lot of us haven't even got our pinballs yet. And it's true. A lot of you guys haven't got your pinball yet. So, of course, the immediate future is availability. So, hopefully, in the U.S., you guys get enough of the stock coming out pretty soon. I know people are posting that some of this stuff is launched today and people are starting to get orders, so hopefully everybody can experience these for themselves very, very soon. But I hate to do this, but we got to talk about the future, because what's next for Arcade1Up Pinball? June is just a couple months away, and we know that Arcade1Up does a summer announcement of the games they have coming up, so, we'll probably do a speculation video somewhere down the line about their arcade cabinets, but let's talk about the future of Arcade1Up Pinball. What's going to happen? I go back to my notes, and I also want to see what you guys are saying in the chat, too. So first off, I'm trying to keep it structured with my notes. Let's talk about what you want to see on the Wave 2 pinballs. I don't mean games yet, we'll talk about that, but what do we want to see on the Wave 2 pinballs? What improvements? For me, I'll wait. I'm going to wait for a second and just see what you guys think. I don't know if you've seen my Attack from Mars video review I did, but I talked about a couple in there that I thought were really good. So we're looking at spring or summer 2022 for Wave 2. That's possible, Jeffrey Witt. End of December is shipping today, apparently. Awesome. I'm holding off on Attack from Mars and waiting for Wave 2. A lot of people are saying that. Jolly Green says better resolution. They should do a rock and roll pin table. Yeah, Hazy B, I agree with you. Wi-Fi. I'm seeing more availability. Yes, more availability. It's the pandemic, guys. Like, stock went crazy. Everything got held up at the ports. They're trying their best. The global landscape is just nuts now. I want to see a better looking coin door and a cleaner screen. So, okay, let's start with the screen. So a lot of people are saying 1080p screen. It is a 1080p screen. That's the crazy thing. It's a 1080p screen. The screen that's in there, the 24-inch screen, is a 1080p screen. Hollywood Polo, remind me again about that later. Hey, Chris Eek. So it's a 1080p screen. The problem that is on it is that the chip is outputting exactly at 720p. So someone mentioned better resolution. I mean, I think it looks fine. I don't even notice it. I'm having fun playing, but I understand where you're coming from. Some people want that better picture quality. So from what I understand, the chip that they have can possibly do it, but it has to be optimized. So I think more so than a better screen, because the screen they got is good. They just need to optimize that chip or put a stronger chip in it. That's what I think I would like to see, either optimization of their current chip or a stronger chip so they can play the games at a little bit higher resolution to make some of these other people happier. FedEx says my Star Wars pin will be here Saturday. That's awesome. Awesome, Garage Gamer. My Star Wars pinball is going to be here March 25th. So hopefully on the 25th, we'll get together and chat about what we think of our Star Wars pinballs. Dreamcast Kyle, my man, fellow Canadian, awesome YouTuber. Everybody, if you're not already, go subscribe to Dreamcast Kyle. Good dude. Maybe some better resolution that has to do with the chip. So there's that one. I saw a lot of people mention Wi-Fi as well, and that's probably my most wanted feature. Not for the same reason that other people want Wi-Fi, but I want Wi-Fi for the simple fact that I want to be able to do the leaderboards, and I want to be able to participate in tournaments directly from my cabinet. So I would have loved to have seen Wi-Fi just so we could get that Zen experience of being able to compare my score against the global leaderboard. I would also like to see, be able to, this tournament that's going on right now, Your Average Gamer's tournament, I would love to be able to actually participate in that from my Arcade1Up cabinet. How cool would that be? Even if it's Arcade1Up specific tournaments, being able to play in that would be dope. And of course, the biggest thing that I would love to have Wi-Fi for is updates. Like, they have the ability to do updates. We have a micro USB switch, but it's kind of a hard process, and it's a little bit terrifying. It's like hack cheat. So anytime that I've had a Wi-Fi enhanced cabinet, like my X-Men vs. Street Fighter or my NBA Jam, the update process is super, super easy. So I'd love to see it. Okay, so a lot of people are mentioning screen size in there. And yeah, let's also talk about the screen size. So right now it's a 24-inch playfield. I think it's fine. I think it works for the shape, but I understand why they think it should be a little bit bigger. If you're playing Attack from Mars, it's fine. Honestly, everything looks really good. The ball looks big. The tables are designed to be played in a pinball cabinet. The problem that we get into is when you're playing the games on the Marvel cabinet and the Star Wars cabinet, and it all depends on how those screens are done. You're going to see it in my review. I'm doing a Marvel review, so spoiler alert, this is going to be talked about. When you get into a screen that has a playfield where the top is part of what's going on with the video game aspect of that table, they end up using like 20 to 30% for the back, and it reduces the size of the playfield. So the playfield smushes, and then the ball actually gets smaller. Ball and flippers, everything gets smaller in scale with how they've squished the table. So they keep the aspect ratio by smushing everything. So then you're playing a game like A-Force, where there's this big gap in the top, and the flippers look like that big, and the ball looks like this big. So the screen isn't really so much the problem. Adam Kalb, how are you? Jolly Green. They should try to copy good points of Act Games and roll with the exclusives. Yeah, Sling Spade, how are you? So that's what I'd like to see. It's not so much I think they need a bigger screen. They can, if they can get one and it's cost effective and they don't have to change the cabinet shape and design, because I think that's really good. It's just maybe they need to talk to Zen and think about optimizing some of the games like A-Force, and then figuring out a way to stretch it so everything has a constant size for the playfield and the ball. So that's my take on that. That's the only thing I'll say about that one. Another thing I want to talk about, and I haven't seen anybody mention this yet, because I guess a lot of people haven't experienced it, but the the actual nudge, the nudge feature right now, in my review, I'm shaking the cabinet over. I've been given some advice from people who watch a video that says you can actually just smack the cabinet a little bit and it'll nudge better. And I haven't been practicing too much with that because you guys know I'm not very good at pinball, so I'm not really a nudge player. But I've been practicing and it works a little bit better. But it would be so much easier if they also provided the option of nudge buttons. So go the extra step. Dynamic top monitor instead of static image. We'll come back to that as well too. Todd, I'm the same way. I can live with the screen size. I think screen size is fine. But going back to the nudge, right now I can hit it. It nudges okay. In the next one, I think they should keep the accelerometer. The accelerometer is great, but add nudge buttons as well. And it's for two reasons. One, some people are going to be more comfortable just playing with nudge buttons because kids especially are going to find it hard to actually nudge the table. But then there's also the aspect that if the accelerometer ever goes kaput, you have no way to nudge your table then. So then technically you got a well-played arcade table. So what they should do is just put the nudge buttons in as a backup, just in case anything ever happens with the accelerometer. We can still enjoy our Arcade1Up Pinball tables, still nudge in the right direction. So I would love to see nudge buttons put on these tables in the future. So they need to do what AtGames is already doing. I don't know about that. I mean, AtGames has a different product, and I don't want to comment too much on the AtGames product until April 8th, when I should have my table and I can talk about it. Some other people are saying they want to see a dynamic backglass, and I know that B Kong and Cool Toy both. That was one of the first things they did with their mod. So they actually put a screen in the back for the backglass, and you're getting into really upping the cost right there, putting in another big LCD screen. I think that's cool, and on a premium cab, I think they should absolutely do it. But the cabs that we have right now, if they can maintain the price point, I'm kind of fine with the static backglass as long as, it fits the art. Like, I like the static backglass obviously more in the Attack from Mars because it's a classic pinball table, so I see it both ways. I think it's kind of like a light-up marquee. Maybe they can sell a version that just has a static backglass that's a light-up marquee, and then if you want to pay a little bit more, maybe you can get a dynamic backglass version. Instead of saying all of them have it, because that's going to raise up the cost, maybe they can do a Walmart version that doesn't have dynamic backglass. Just a small Wi-Fi card. Wi-Fi is absolutely 100% the biggest thing I want to see in the next cabs, above everything else. Just Wi-Fi, so I can play in tournaments and play in tournaments and do updates, and also just check out my scores against the leaderboard. Like, I'm recording some of the best scores I've ever scored in any of the Zen pinball games on these tables, and it feels like it's wasted because I don't know where I stand globally. Like, I come up here and then I compare to my old scores and how I stood, and I guess, but I'm hitting like 40 million in games that I previously only hit 10 million in on these tables, and I want to see how I'm doing, and it would be so cool if we were connected that way. Yeah. So that's version 3, pit stop. I'm just trying to catch up with the comment, guys. I kind of went off. Only complaint is retailers and the existence of pre-orders with dates that are guessed in a world in a pandemic. Yeah, I mean, I 100%. Didn't realize they do have a nudge. Well Played doesn't. They only have a forward nudge button. But Arcade1Up does have a nudge. It's great. It's the accelerometer inside. However, it would be nice if there was a backup for a nudge button, is what I'm suggesting. So I'm just catching up with the chat here, guys. That's pretty much all the improvements I would like to see done to the cabinet. Like, we always get these slight improvements as they go from wave to wave with Arcade1Up's products. So those are the ones that are important for me with the pinball tables. Now, someone else also talked about a new feature for the next wave, and this is one that I think is going to be probably the sore spot in the conversation that we have here tonight, because a lot of people want the Wi-Fi enabled feature in order for us to download more games. People are really upset that these tables only have 10 games and feel that there should be the option to, buy more games or add more games to the table through Wi-Fi. Of course, that's what we're used to with the Zen model. I mean, even with your phone, you go in, you download Zen Pinball, and then you buy the games and their add-ons. So everybody's expecting with the Zen model, that's maybe what the Arcade1Up pinball tables will be like. However, we know Arcade1Up, I mean, with their standard business model, they release an arcade cabinet and then put 3 games on it, and if you want more games, you buy another arcade cabinet. So the question is, why would Arcade1Up then... Hey, Stephen C., how are you? Yeah, I know, Kev Gret. So that's where I'm going with this. Why would Arcade1Up all of a sudden make a pinball table where instead of having to buy another pinball table to add more games, they would just add a feature so you could buy more games for it? I'm not sure. Some people are saying, yes, Arcade1Up's talked about it. It's very possible. It's, of course, also the Zen model, so maybe it's something Zen would want. But I don't see Arcade1Up doing that. I see Arcade1Up coming out with a second Marvel table, a second Star Wars table, a second, Williams table, and it's going to be the other games that aren't on it. They'll keep, come out the next one. I think it's going to be a Funhouse cabinet for Williams. Marvel, it'll just have different Marvel art. Star Wars will have different Star Wars art, and we'll get the rest of the catalogs. And then they'll go in the other directions. But people are saying there's a possibility they're going to add the option to buy more games. I would be very, very, very surprised. But I want to know what you guys think. Is this something you want? And honestly, if you guys are saying, I only want to buy one pinball table and I want to add more games, I don't know if Arcade1Up is going to be the answer for you guys. I don't think that's going to happen. Sulpris with a subscription service, something like Xbox Game Pass or what AtGames has with the ArcadeNet. Yeah, that could possibly work. But, Arcade1Up has sold 1 million arcades. AtGames has sold probably 20,000. I'm probably more. I don't know the exact number, but probably it's like 100,000. Camo, thank you so much for the super chat. Yeah, Jersey Jack's topic. We will come back to that. I've got it on my list. I did a list tonight. I'm very organized. Thank you very much for the super chat, and don't worry, we will come back to that. But they have ArcadeNet, and they have all the games, and they gave you the ability to add games to it. The problem is, you're going to buy one Legends Ultimate, and then you can do everything from that. And that's great. That's for the people that want multicades. But for the people building a full arcade, you're going to buy, like me, I've got one Legends Ultimate. Well, I also have a Legends Gamer Pro. But you're going to buy one of those compared to I have 14 Arcade1Up cabs and 2 pinballs with the third on the way. So, Arcade1Up doesn't run in the model where they'll just release one. I think a deluxe AtGames pinball is the ultimate solution. That would be really, really cool. Like if they came out with a deluxe one. Yeah, so that's my thought on that one. Wi-Fi and us being able to add more games. I don't know. No, not like a spreadsheet. Just I wanted to keep organized because sometimes I ramble and I go off in directions. Spooky pinball, please. So that's kind of what we think. That's all the features that I had to talk about, unless there's something specifically you'd like to see, guys. Someone else mentioned, and I apologize, this is one of the ones that was in the chat, I didn't even think about this. They'd want to see a better DMD. I don't know if the DMD needs to be any bigger specifically. I think it fits well. I think I'd like to see it more optimized. I mentioned in my review for Attack from Mars, I'd like to see that picture stretch so it fits the DMD. I would like to see the appropriate screen. All that dead space there just doesn't really make sense. And I know why they did it. They don't have to fill it up. It maintains the correct aspect ratio that Zen provides in their games, but I would like to see a more correct size DMD. Oh, someone else also mentioned needs a glass top. I think that the plexiglass is really, really good. The only thing I've noticed so far that's a little bit of a complaint about the plexiglass is on my Attack from Mars, depending on which way I look at it, sometimes it makes it look like there's lines going through the screen. And I guess it's the way the plexi was cut. The Marvel one looks fantastic, no problems. But my Attack from Mars, there seems to be some weird striations in the cut or something. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to take a look at it exactly. So, Yeah, that's about it. Cool Toy, if you haven't seen it, guys, Cool Toy did a glass mod video for his Arcade1Up Pinballs. Seems pretty easy to do, but that is not tempered glass. That is just glass. So also keep in mind that there's a very high possibility if you have kids and they put anything on top of it, it's going to be very easy to break. The plexiglass, Shotgun Sean 100% says it. The plexiglass feels so much better than all the other plexiglasses they have. Join the Arcade1Up High Score Facebook group, Mike. I will, King Midas, and thank you very much for the super chat. Huge black bezel is unnecessary. Needs a screen that fits the cabinet instead of the huge bezel. Jeff, are you talking about the one that slopes down, or are you talking about the one right in the front? But I agree with you. The one thing I like about that is, like, the Toy Shock just has that bezel around it, and they've made a couple differences, but the Arcade1Up one is actually slanted down, which gives an appearance of depth, which is a cool feature. Kessel's Arcade, I thought you said you weren't going to be able to make it, man. Plexi is better on the pinball than cabs for sure. In fact, general over quality of the pinballs, it's awesome. The pinball is awesome. And Kelsel's, I'll never say that right, but you're probably one of the people to blame with me buying a Star Wars pinball. I'll be very honest about that. I watch so many people's videos on these pinballs. I'm pinball crazy. Yeah, you've noticed that with your Attack from Mars screen as well, Michael B. Maybe it's not the plexi, and maybe it's the screen itself. Like, it just seems like there's these black lines every now and then that go through them. Oh, you're saying on your Marvel you get the lines too. I don't see them very often on my Marvel. Like, every now and then. Mostly with Attack from Mars, when I see it, is actually on the main video game display. As you're going across the games list, that's where I see it actually in the pictures for the games. It's weird. Feels like wasted space. That's possible, Jeff Rainwater. It's possible. I mean, I don't really notice it right now, but 100%. Yeah. Dinner is late, so I jumped on. Good man. It's funny. You're saying dinner is late. It's 9 minutes to 12 here, where I'm too in Newfoundland. And next gen. Now I want Attack from Mars. That's my favorite pinball of all time. Yes, and it comes with the art, comes with everything. Get it. I don't mean to feed into the FOMO, but Arcade1Up, the way that they've rechanged their business model is, if you don't get it when it comes out, you might not be able to get it. And I mean, that artwork, everything about it is so good. Get Attack from Mars. I support you in getting it. Tell whoever you need to tell that if you don't get it now, you might not be able to get it. Anyways, let's talk about the next wave. So here's where I'm going with this. We kind of know what we think is coming up in the next wave. Michael, did you like Evil's video on various pinball shell dimensions comparisons? Which one would be right for you? I haven't watched it yet, Hollywood Polo, but I definitely will take a look at it after this video, after I get done this. I tell you a funny story. I'm working on my Marvel pinball review this week, and I've been filming some footage today. I never stop. So I filmed some footage, and I got a lot of gameplay footage done, but I did the gameplay footage with no lights, so there was no interference on the screen. That's some feedback I got from my last video. Some people found it, hi, Telly Mantelli, Nova Scotia, hi from Newfoundland. Some feedback I got on my last video was the lights at some point on the screen were a little bit distracting, so I filmed a bunch of gameplay with no lights on. And then I started filming a bunch of stuff for the cabinet itself, cabinet video, and like an hour's worth of cabinet video, and realized I didn't put my studio lights up, so all that footage is useless. So, more work again. Wilhelm Stein, again, here, that's the frustrating thing. The screens are 1080p. The screens are good. It's optimization within the chip, from what I understand. They're pumping out the gameplay at 720p. The chip is, not the screen's ability to take it. So, if the game could play at 1080p, they were. Yeah, John D said prices are rising, so next cabs are going to cost more. I don't think that should be a surprise for anybody, because you got to read between the lines. And Cool Toy, who's got an inside track with Arcade1Up, obviously they gave him a heads up about Outrun, and that's awesome, Brett. 146 people, that's crazy. Thank you so much for everybody for tuning in. And also, they sent him and Retro Ralph the pinball tables for early review. So obviously, he's got the downright info. He's already announced. Well, not announced, not officially. Are you getting Outrun or not? I'll come back to that tech now, Shaman. Yeah. So, anyways, Cool Toy said it in a bunch of his videos. Read between the lines. He said prices are going up. I think that you're going to see the standard price for cabs going forward be somewhere around $500. It cost of everything, right? And we know for a fact, 100%. One of the other reasons I ordered the Star Wars pinball is we have the brick here in Canada that everybody shops at, and they gave us a heads up ahead of time. They said April 1st, pinball's going up $50. So our pinball's going from $7.99 to $8.49. So I said, thanks for the heads up, and ordered my Star Wars pinball while it was still cheaper. Ray, how are you, my friend? Ray, I've always got to thank Ray. He's done so much for me. He sent me this vinyl, print artwork for my Centipede riser on top, and he also gave me a heads up about the Walmart orders for the Game & Watch Mario color screen. So, Ray Chen, thank you very much, brother. I gotta smuggle an Outrun from Maine. No, I'm just gonna. Well, I might. I gotta figure out if I can get a stand-up here in Canada. I'm still taking a look at the stand-up. Prices are going up, quality as well. No, it's I don't know what the right term for it is. Prices are going up because inflation. It's inflation. Same as anything else. The cost of their products are going up. They have to maintain the same profit margin in order for the business to make sense. So they raise the prices, and we're getting the same product. But you know what? One thing I will say about Arcade1Up that's really good, Mr. Dude 206, my friend, he made an excellent video on screen resolution that was not complete. Ridiculous name on it, but yeah. So anyways, go check out Mr. Dude. If you like CRTs, he has all of them. The CRT shortage that's going on in the world right now, it's because Mr. Dude 206 has 87% of the remaining CRTs. Yeah, so it's just inflation. Their costs are going up, and they got to go up. Anyways, we're getting off track here. So next wave, what do we think is going to be coming out? So I mentioned it earlier. Here's what I think is coming out, and you guys put in the chat what you think is coming out. So I think we'll get, and I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming the next wave will be announced in June for, the Christmas release next year. And I think we're going to be looking at Star Wars, maybe Wave 2, Marvel Wave 2, maybe Williams Wave 2. Those are all three possibilities. But the fourth possibility is that Universal table. So what will be the Universal table? That one, the reason why I think that one didn't come out, it's hard to mix licenses. So for Universal, you really only got the three games, Back to the Future, E.T., and Jaws. And, very cool. But then what else do you put on it? You can kind of blur the lines and use the Williams Universal Monsters games. So Monster Bash, I can't remember it off the top of my head now. And also Creature from the Black Lagoon. So you're up to 5 games. Then what else do you put on the Universal pin? Do you just stick 5 Zen Originals on it? I don't know. So I think that's the next 4 cabinets. That's what I think. But does anybody else think anything different? I see, what about Jurassic Park? What was Jurassic Park a Universal title? If so, Jurassic Park could totally go on it. Wave 2, Williams, that's what I think is going to be 100% Zero Hero. Wave 2, if you're going to go with Attack from Mars and then put Medieval Madness on the same cabinet, obviously in Wave 2, they're going to have to come out with a really, really cool brand, and Funhouse is one of those pinball tables that everybody would love to have. So there it is. It's like 6 Jurassic Park games. Okay, so I need to update myself on the Zen library. So then that's a slam dunk. You can do Back to the Future, you can do Back to the Future, Jaws, E.T., and then the Jurassic Park games. Zen Originals, no license issues, that makes sense. Yeah, Aaron Smith, I was not aware. I for some reason, my movie knowledge just came out of my head, and I didn't realize Jurassic Park was Universal. I would love to see Ghostbusters. I know there's a Stern Ultimate Ghostbusters on Pinball Arcade. Funhouse originally was going on the Attack from Mars cabinet. I'm not 100% sure. I think that was just a mistake. Wave 2 Marvel will be Deadpool. It'll be released when Deadpool 3 comes out. Yeah, that's possible. Do you think that there will be a specific art, or do you think it'll be more multi-Marvel and multi-Star Wars again when they come back out? Kind of hate Funhouse myself. Adam 12, you know what's funny? I kind of agree with you. I started playing Funhouse. I only got it recently because it was on sale through Steam when I first got my new computer and picked up Pinball FX, and I'm not in love with it yet. I might not just understand the table. An all monsters table? Yeah, well, I mean, we're going to get the games we don't have already on the next Marvel table. It's 100% going to be there. So that's what I think. But I'm seeing a lot of people talk about what we could have, and this is the other thing about the future. So I've talked about it a lot. I wanted the Attack from Mars because that more fit the model that Arcade1Up previously have had. I mean, you know, it's a classic arcade pinball table, and then we're getting classic pinball tables that are real pinball tables. Stephen C. pick up Attack from Mars tomorrow, and Big Buck Hunter this Friday from the Brick. Want a Terry Pong pub table really bad. Any word on it coming to Canada, Michael B? Thank you so much for the super chat, Stephen. That is so awesome. There is nothing more exciting than going to pick up like an arcade cabinet or a pinball table. I went and picked up 2 pinball tables on the same day, and I felt like it's Christmas, right? So very excited. You're going to have an awesome week. Atari Pong pub table. If you were in the Facebook group, you know that Arlene asked us if we thought there was a ability for us to, you know, if we were interested in possibly buying a Pong cabinet, and we all said no, so I'm not 100% sure the Brick ordered any, but there's a possibility that maybe Best Buy would bring some in. It's going to depend. All right, so just going back, what we think of the future, you see on the thumbnail, I included 2 pinball tables that I'm a really big fan of and would love to see come, and that's Elvira Scared Stiff and also Addams Family. So I would like to see Arcade1Up go back more to that model of taking real pinball tables and taking the art from these classic pinball tables, recreating that, and then putting other pinball tables on there. I don't know how they get to that. These games aren't necessarily done by a company, like they have an exclusive partnership with Zen, so obviously it would involve Zen getting the license to that table and then doing it to work with Arcade1Up. But that's what I want to see. I want to see them do, you know, Elvira Scared Stiff. I want to see them do Addams Family. I want to see them do the Gottlieb Nightmare on Elm Street table. And I would love to see this stuff. Definitely Deadpool for Wave 2. You should see the mini pin table. Extreme Gaming Cabinets did a bit jaw-dropping. Jason at the third floor arcade is getting the Pong pub table. Yeah. If that had Wi-Fi and you could play Warlords with people through Wi-Fi, that would be a real slam dunk on that Pong pub table. We have to get Zen there. That's 100%. I want the focus to be on real pinball table. Nothing against Zen. Like I said, I've had my eyes completely blown open. I'm very excited about Star Wars. Very excited about Marvel pinball, but I have that itch for real pinball, and that's what I want to see more of. Like, Zen Studios has to do it first. 100% agree. So I guess in order for Zen to do that, they're going to have to open up their library. They're going to have to, unrelated Stranger Things table for computer use is fantastic. Better than real arcade version. That's awesome. Zen hasn't added new tables in forever. But yeah, that's the crazy thing. No one's added new tables in forever. I mean, Pinball Arcade hasn't been doing anything. Zen, you know, they're working on Pinball FX4, I guess. I want to see more licenses. This partnership with Arcade1Up, Zen has amazing physics, but, you know, we need real pinball games. That's what I'd love to see them. I'd love to see the Stern Stranger Things table, and that's where I'm going with this next. We talked about this last night on the I Hate Monday show with P-Dubs, and I would love for Stern to get under license and start seeing some more real pinball tables brought out through Arcade1Up so we can get back to more of what they're doing. I mean, you guys don't want to see arcades come out that are based on original Arcade1Up creations, do you? You want real arcade games, so why wouldn't you want the same thing through pinball? Zen is releasing Star Wars VR pinball. I did see that. Combine pinball with shooter would be awesome. I know, Jamie Manley, it's a lot of work to recreate these tables. 100%. That's why they've got a good base with Zen right now. They can work on that. But, I mean, after they release the next wave of tables, which I think is all going to be, the current library, what happens to Arcade1Up Pinball after that? If they don't bring Stern into the fold and they don't get more classic licenses, start doing new games, is that it? Stilo, have a good night. Thank you so much for coming. You know, they have to go somewhere with this if they want this to be a long-term build. So, I would love to see more classic pinball. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Yeah, maybe we would see that. Maybe they would just release it with new features or the legacy pinballs. Creature from the Black Lagoon is my favorite table of all time. Yeah, I really like that one too. I don't have it on Steam right now. I have it on my... I almost called it a Wii, my Switch, but that's Stern. Stern is a pipe dream. Why is Stern pipe dream? Ray Chen? That's what I was. I don't think Stern is a pipe dream. I think right now Stern has good tables. I got it for Android. I don't think Stern is with anybody right now. I think that. I don't know if Farsight still holds the Stern license. I mean, they have the rights to the games that they currently have. Jersey Jack Spooky American Pinball. There's the next one, too. Jersey Jack is the other big company that's currently making a Galaga Gen 2 Countercade. I wish I could have jumped on that deal. They have to get more than 10 on one table at a time. And a lot of people are saying that, too. A lot of people are saying... there has to be more games. There has to be more games for this to make sense. Ray Chain, they just want to sell the real thing. There's a market there, Ray. They know. So I've said this about Arcade1Up. Arcade1Up know they have a $400 to $500 US product. Not everybody's going to buy that. So they're constantly trying to come out with ideas, whether it be countercades, whether it be that plug-and-play console, whether it be something else, where you can sell your product at different price points and engage a new level of audience that you might be able to bring in at a cheaper price point, like a $49 Galaga Countercade. Then all of a sudden, they really like your product, and maybe they're going to be willing to, where they haven't before, spend more money on the more upscale products. Stern, I mean, realistically, who here has money to go buy a $9,000 pinball table or $14,000 pinball table? So, if there's an option to work with a company like Zen, work with a company like Arcade1Up, and put products out, I think it's possible. 10 is enough. I mean, yeah, I've talked about this a bunch of times before. I get arcade cabinets and just play the marquee game on it, the one that the art's based on, so... Here's the thing, 1UP not going after hardcore scene. All of us here are a small group with a bigger market. Telly Mantelli, I know that, and I've had that conversation a bunch of times with people too. They've got to sell to the stores. So I mean, Marvel's easy. Star Wars is easy. But how do you explain to somebody what Williams is? Like, how do you explain to somebody what Attack from Mars is? And we're all really excited about this, and we're all gaining so much knowledge on pinball and becoming, knowledgeable on it. But really, pinball is kind of a niche thing. Even when it was big, it was niche. So how do you sell it? So I get that. You got to go with more of a mainstream. I don't think they're focused on the mainstream, though. I think Arcade1Up are smart. They listen to their audience. They do things for their audience. They don't cater to one specific audience. They cater to levels. So you get your levels, which are your general masses, why we get 40 Pac-Mans, and then Dragon's Lair. If they only catered to the mainstream, we would not get a Dragon's Lair cabinet. We would. That's just the way it is. I mean, that's purely for the fans. because we are all pinball nerds. We are now. Need something in the middle tier, better than the $500,000 stuff, but not as pricey as the 10,000 tables. What could we get the 1,500 range? Not mechanical. Not mechanical, Jeff. Yeah, I mean, it's pinball. You can play the same table your entire life and be happy if you like pinball. So if they deliver 10 quality tables, it's more than enough. Yeah, I could play Attack from Mars just hours and hours and hours and hours on end. Just Attack from Mars. So it's different mindsets, too. Like, my buddy P-Dubs, like, you talk to P-Dubs, he's a multi-cade guy. He would much rather buy a pinball table with every game on it. If that was out there, he would buy that. But then you got guys like me that appreciate the art, appreciate like having multiple pinball tables and the actual functional furniture. I hate to say it, but I want to see an arcade filled with stuff. And, I'll buy multiples. So I'm okay with the number of games because it's all about the experience. Medieval Madness is fantastic. That was lame, Kev. 2 games is not enough. What did he say? Space Invaders, Galaga, Pac-Man came with 2 games. I don't want 100 games on one table. I'm not into multicade. See, it's the battle. It's multicade, or do you want a product that has a specific look? You're creating an arcade atmosphere. Dreamcast Kyle gets it exactly. 100% Dreamcast Kyle. Dragon's Lair will be mine. Yeah, I really want Dragon's Lair too. I'm practicing on my iArcade right now. iArcade. I've got to learn how to say that right. Yeah, Brad O'Connell also brings up a good one too. Like, you got a lot of awesome rock pinball. I mean, if they could get a license to do something like AC/DC, Metallica, I think that would be one of the pinball tables where we'd probably get lesser games because it'd be hard to, for Metallica to be like, cool, yeah, definitely put my stuff on an AC/DC label. Someone's going to want to be the marquee title there. So if they go with rock bands, I don't think that the rock bands are going to be willing to shell out. Rock bands are going to be willing to give up the marquee name in order for the table to be put out. Emulating that experience, 100%. 10 games is done, fine if done right. WKRP in Cincinnati says 6 games more than average arcade cab. 100% right. I can see them reskinning the Attack from Mars as a Medieval Madness with the same games on it. That's 100% possible if they decide they're going to do a specialty one, like a Sam's Club version. I can see that. Iron Maiden had a great table too. I did not know that. Recently modded my Street Fighter cocktail. Yeah, the Street Fighter cocktail, it went on sale here in Canada for dirt cheap, and I considered getting it, but the reality is, I mean, it has a vertical screen. I didn't like the way the screen orientation was done, so I have no issue with you modding that. I'll tell you right now. Stop spamming. Who's Slither Ninja talking to? I want Dragon's Lair just because of how it looks. That would be amazing if done right. Yeah, absolutely. There's an arcade south of Phoenix called Level 1 Arcade that has an Indiana Jones pinball light gun. Really? Now that would be cool. There are a few good Data East tables, Mike Dennis, and I asked this question because I was really excited about that. I mean, there's a Batman one, there's a... Speaking of what rocks, did you check out Michael B's t-shirt in Metallica's Teespring store? Pete Ups, my friend, thank you so much for joining. Guys, if you haven't, head over to Nostalgia's Teespring store to pick up your very own Super Game Room Dudes merchandise. It's fantastic. Wasn't there a Wizard of Oz pinball table? Yes, that's, I don't know if that's Data East, but there's a Wizard of Oz under Jersey Jack that is actually pretty dope. But Data East, going back to that, there's Batman, there's Star Wars, there's a lot of really cool Data East tables. And I found out that Stern actually has the ownership of the Data East pinball table. So we're back to Stern. We have to bring Stern into the fold to get at the Data East pinball tables too. Kongzai Ross, thank you so much for being here, man. I gotta plug the merch, I know. There it is. Of course, P-Dubs. Will Zen make new pinball tables? That's what we're hoping. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the software side of pinball because Zen, Farsight, everybody seems to be kind of at a standstill. So, yeah. Doesn't Stern own the Data... Stern does own the Pinball Data East IP, from what I understand. All right. Let me just check here, guys. We've been going for... I don't know how long we've been going for. 45 minutes. We still got time. Excellent. I'm wearing a fantastic tee from Nostalgia's Teespring store. That is fantastic, Jeff. I got to see a picture of that. But I've talked a lot here. I've kind of led the conversation instead of reading your guys' comments tonight. I apologize, guys. That's what happens when you take notes. What's going on in here, Ronsky? We're talking pinball, brother. What's going to be the future of Arcade1Up? So, guys, what do you think? Give me specific tables. What do you think are can't-miss tables Arcade1Up should do that would be the absolute marquee tables on the outside? I mentioned Addams Family. If they can do Addams Family, 100%, that should be one. Elvira Scared Stiff. Everybody would be crazy about this. Apparently, there's a big new Mandalorian table coming from Zen. Yeah, I know about that one. What do you guys want to see? What tables do you think that Zen Pinball should do? Because you got to remember, it's a exclusive partnership with Arcade1Up right now. It's got to be a Zen table. We're getting good physics. Are you still interested in the Legends Ultimate Mini? I am. I've got to wait to see what the price is going to be here in Canada. With that games, the way our stuff works is it comes out in the US, you guys can buy it, but then we have to wait until it gets released here in Canada. Then we have to find out the price point. T2, I didn't even mention T2. T2 is a fantastic table. I would love to see that. That would be hard though, because you got the gun launcher. I guess they could just do a launch button and we deal with it, right? E.T., Jaws, Back to the Future. Jolly, are you talking about the Universal table? I also said I wanted the Universal table reskinned. I didn't like the art on the Universal table originally, and I'm hoping that's one of the reasons it got delayed, so it can just be reskinned and branded. I want Back to the Future more than anything else. So, Revenge from Mars. Pat Lawler Connection. Yep. All the Pat Lawler games are fantastic. Circus Voltaire. I know. I was hoping that's one of my favorites, and I was hoping that was going to be on this table. Perry Ball, my fellow Newfoundlander, Top Gun. I don't know if I've ever played the Top Gun pinball table, Perry. I'm going to have to look that up. Zero Hero. If they could convince Stern to do 10 Data East games with Zen, you have to do Batman. 100%. 100%. Walking Dead. I think there's Zen Walking Dead games right now. There's a Stern Walking Dead official pinball table, but there's Zen Walking Dead pinball, if I'm not mistaken. Zen exclusive John D table. Farsight did do T2. Okay. So many good tables out there. I know. Every time, I'm addicted now to watching, pinball tours and trying to learn new licenses. They'll go through some of the classic tables, all the old Gottlieb tables and the ones before that, and I'm like, oh, neat. Get to the 90s tables here, guys. Michael B's Pin, Genie's Flan's Revenge. That's a good one, Sean. I'm not sick of eating food yet, Ryan Gar. X-Files theme table, yeah. We talked about it on Rexer's show, the last one we did, top pinball tables of all time. There's a Twilight Zone one that's really good. Playboy had an amazing pinball table. What else was there? I don't know the Captain Fantastic was the one we lost the competition on. What else was there? There was so many more. Twilight Zone, Playboy, Captain Fantastic. Oh, that Dracula table. That looks really cool. Bram Stoker's Dracula apparently has an incredible pinball table. I'd love to play that. Kiss pinball table. There's a lot of really good band tables. Oh, yeah, the double wide Hercules one. The huge pinball table. Who released that? Was that... was it Atari? Did Atari do pinball tables? Yeah, 90 spins were mostly licensed. I want licensed pins. I know it's going to cost more, but I would love to see it. Playboy is a great table. Indiana Jones, yeah, I would love to see that. I'd be good with 4 pinballs from Arcade1Up. I'm with B-Kong. We need a couple better shooters. Time Crisis and House of the Dead. Nightmare on Elm Street Pinball. Yes, Dreamcast Call. Thank you so much, man. There's a Gottlieb Nightmare on Elm Street table. I've seen Detroit Love actually play it. He did a video for me because I was talking about it. Atari did do Hercules. And I got it up there. So, Nightmare on Elm Street Pinball, I would love to see that. Detroit Love actually did a video showcasing it from Visual Pinball, I think it is. I haven't got into the whole Visual Pinball side yet, but I watched Detroit Love play it, and I'm a huge horror movie fan, so Nightmare on Elm Street, that would be awesome. Awesome table. I actually saw one, not in person myself, but I've got a friend here. I don't think he's in the chat tonight, but he actually fixes pinball tables like from away, and someone actually sent him a Nightmare on Elm Street to fix up for him, and he sent me video of like him playing it, and I was like, oh man, if we weren't in a pandemic, I'd be at your house right now. Oh yeah, Scotty Wick. I don't know 100%, but they are doing a little bit of work together. Like I know Scotty Wick did Leprechaun King. Scotty Wick also did Pizza Time, and there might be some work there. Day Day Simpsons. I haven't played that one. Twilight Zone is Williams. Horror Monster Tables is solely needed in space. 100% agree. Oh, someone also mentioned like Pinbot and Bride of Pinbot earlier. Those are excellent. I wish there was a Jason table. I mean, Zen, if you're out there and you want to make some new tables, make some horror movie tables. Like, add that to your library. They will sell like hotcakes. There is a huge mix of people who like video games and arcades, also love horror movies. So, I mean, if you could throw some stuff in there and then we could get it through Arcade1Up, I'd buy that, even if it's not a real pinball table. Flash Gordon, that's one of the other ones we talked about the other night. Halloween Pinball. Oh, Shotgun Sean. Is it based on the movie? Like, what movie is it based on? Is it Halloween, or is it just... Why are you going to a laundromat just to play pinball? Yeah. Bride of Pinbot, Ronsko Bronsky. Yeah, that's a good one. I'm the leprechaun. We have Gogar waiting to find someone to fix it. And that's the thing. Someone commented on my Attack from Mars review. They said, why are you wasting money on this stuff? Just go and buy a real pinball. So say, for example, that it was humanly possible on this little island I live on to find a pinball table. How do I keep it up and running? Like, I talked about the guy I know. He goes by Retro Amusements on Instagram if you want to look him up. He can fix pinball tables, but I'm going to spend thousands, because there's a fan page, Canadian Pinball Collectors, and everybody that gets stuff here, they have a lot of money and they're shipping him in from away. But then every time it goes down, you're probably paying like $400 or $500. The original Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween, that is amazing. I'm going to be looking this up right after we get off here. But I don't have that kind of money. I paid $900 by the time tax was done here in Canada for one of these Arcade1Up pinball tables, and that's it. I mean, it's just going to work until it doesn't work. But if I buy a real pinball table, I'm probably paying like $3,000 plus, ungodly amounts of money every time something breaks. And even parts, even if it's small parts, and I learned how to do this myself, ungodly amounts of money to get the small parts here. Elvira and all the Universal Monsters. Oh man, there's three, right? There's a trilogy of Elvira pinball tables. Elvira Scared Stiff is the one that I've seen some around Toronto area might be easy, 5,000, 8,000. Exactly. Real pinball tables constantly break. And it's not just one thing. It's a million things. Shipping to Toronto is expensive, though. To us, it's crazy, yeah. Vira, there's three, right? So it's Scared Stiff. What's the other two? 3 Elvira tables. I was looking it up earlier. Let me just jump on here and double check this here now. Elvira Pinball. I wish I could show you the screen. I got to figure that out. So, House of Horrors is a Stern game. That must be a new one. Elvira's House of Horrors. Elvira and the Party of Monsters. Elvira and the Party Monsters is 1989. Then there's Scared Stiff. And then House of Horrors is a Stern game. Interesting. House of Horrors, Party Monsters. There they are. Yeah. Virtual pinball always breaks too. I know, Ray. I know it's not forever, but like, you know, I know it's not forever, but am I still loving Attack from Mars? 100%. Love Attack from Mars. That's my favorite game of all time. I would love to get a real Attack from Mars. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if you guys know him, Keo Deacon, he just actually got a real Attack from Mars, and I am so jealous. Oh. There's 3 other tables that are also linked to Dr. Dude and Party Zone. Really? American Pinball only made 1 table, Alien. Cassandra Peterson is going to be rich off rights payments. Like, it's unreal how old she is and how good she still looks. Like, she's beyond. And, like, if you see her without her Elvira get up on, I don't think that's plastic surgery. I think she just basically really kept good care of herself. Yeah, there is so many good, real pinball tables out there in the world. I don't mean the 1-ups. I mean if you do VPin via PC. Well, Ray, that's why I got my At Games Legends pinball coming. That's the idea for that one. 100% Barry. Like, 100%. Just like the stupidest stuff. And like, I'm a big fan of John's Arcade on YouTube. And I don't know if you guys have ever watched John's Arcade, but it's all based on real arcades. John does tours of real arcades, and I watch that to get ideas and learn more about arcade history. But he also has a pile of series that are just fixing his own arcades. Like, if you have a real arcade and real pinballs, it's a completely normal thing that every single time you turn on your arcade, something's going to be down or something's going to be broken. And like, finding out what it is, even if you're super knowledgeable, sometimes stuff just won't make sense. It just won't. Like, you'll go in there and you're like, oh, okay, it must be the CRT. And then it's like an episode of House. Basically, you're throwing darts at the wall to see which possible problem with the CRT it is before it comes back up. You basically just try a mess of stuff. There's times where he has videos, 15 videos deep, of him trying to fix an arcade cabinet. Same with a pinball cabinet. And the only reason sometimes he gets it done is he's got amazing people around him that also have the tools, have the talent. Like, it is kudos. Anybody that has real arcades and does this stuff full time, I have so much respect for you. I'm going to stick with the Arcade1Up stuff because it's easy and I'm not skilled. Hey guys, we are in the basement. Love John's Arcade. There's 2 that I really watch. I watch John's Arcade, and I was turned on to John's Arcade through Arcade Impossible. So if you guys ever are looking for binge-worthy stuff, I mean, John's Arcade, it's all like straightforward, him shooting directly in front of him. Every episode's like an hour, and he goes and takes a look at real arcades. It's amazing. Brad O'Connell, 100%. Every time you go into a real arcade, they're going to have one down. Zero Hero, that's the other thing. Like, I went and looked at, there's no way to get real arcades here, but I looked at a couple this summer, and the only one that was even somewhat presentable, like savable, was the Williams Bubble. And I mean, this thing is massive, and, you know, it has CRT in there. It weighs like 400 pounds, and my wife, she can't help me. We're in a pandemic. How do I move this stuff if I need to fix it or break it? Like, you watch John's Arcade or you watch Arcade Impossible, sometimes they have 4 people moving these cabinets. So, yeah, there's drawbacks with the real stuff, too. Scott Gray. Who actually makes those tables, though? Yeah, I live vicariously through others. I got the hood up on my No Good Gophers as we speak. See, Hunter Killer, that's exactly what I mean. Constantly, something will go wrong. So that's the other thing that's amazing. His poor popcorn machine, I know. He's got a new one, though. And I love the fact that he took a break from YouTube, and then all of a sudden, he just showed up. It was like a live video that came on one night, and it was just a picture of a box on a table. And eventually, after like 3 minutes of waiting, you see Gross Gaming, greetings from Calgary, thank you very much. After a couple minutes, you finally see him open up the popcorn machine and put the new popcorn machine on his table. So, yeah, And speaking of Dragon's Lair, that cab in Star Wars was always broken down in my arcade. Dragon's Lair was a tough one because they had so many problems with the Laserdisc players. Like, if you can find a Dragon's Lair cabinet with the original Pioneer Laserdisc player in it, it's a miracle because they had to replace them so much. If it's not broken, it's not pinball. Camo knows. So now we have this virtual option. It's low cost. It's affordable. Looks pretty good. It's really fun, and I've been really digging it. And I can't wait to see where Arcade1Up go in the future with these pinball tables. I hope they do some improvements, if possible, on the next wave. Definitely Wi-Fi. That's something that, in my opinion, is a massive oversight. Should have been there. And I hope that the focus shifts with them and Zen more towards trying to recreate real pinballs and the real experience, just like they do with the Arcade1Up. You're bringing the arcade home. So we want to see the arcade pinball brought home too. So hopefully you guys can work together and get on making more real tables. The other thing about that is the real tables, you know, they just look better. They look better because they don't have the same features that you guys put in. So they're bigger on the 24-inch screen and they just work a little bit better. And once you guys in the States get your Attack from Mars pre-orders, you'll see what I mean by that. It's just a whole playfield and the whole thing is bigger. The Arcade1Up pinballs honestly look utterly beautiful. Keto Wolf, you took the words right out of my mouth. And it's not just they look beautiful. They're so sturdy. Like, these things are, I said in my review, an engineering marvel. It's 100% serious. These things feel good from top to bottom. Like, in terms of the actual body, look, everything, it's the best thing Arcade1Up's ever done. 100%. He did 2 trips to Galloping Ghost, actually. John did 2 trips to Galloping Ghost. He did one really early when it wasn't as big as it was, and then he came back and did a return one when it became the world's largest arcade. And there's that debate whether Fun Spot or Galloping Ghost is actually the world's largest arcade. Thanks for the AFM gameplay reviews. I was starting to believe that cab really didn't exist. Thank you so much for the super chat, Ronsko Bronski. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I was so tired because the first night I got my 2 pinballs, I had to make room for them because I was going to be taking these upstairs, and I wasn't 100% sure because they came early, so I didn't have my pre-work done. So what I had to do was I had to take both these cabs up from my basement, put them in my office, which took hours, and then finally get my 2 pinball tables up and working. And by the time I did the live gameplay, I mean, it was late at night. So the next day I was exhausted, but I still filmed my footage and edited like crazy and got the review out Friday morning. So I'm glad everybody enjoyed them. Glad it was worth it because it was a lot. Yeah, he puts a new machine on his floor every single Monday. It's crazy. Gross Gaming, I'm going to replace the coin door decal with 3D printed coin door. I think there's going to be a market out there for an aftermarket coin doors to go out to replace those labels that are going to be on the cabs. Everybody's going to want their Arcade1Ups to look the same. So as soon as the real next wave come out with the 3D coin doors, everybody's going to be putting coin doors on their Arcade1Ups. Once you get your ACT games, I really want to know your opinion on the solenoids versus the exciters. Seems there are 2 camps of people who like each one. I gotta know what one is really best. See, I'm not sure because I think the people that got the first run of the ACT Games Pinball, it's not the same as the people getting the ACT Games Pinball right now. Hey, thank you so much, Kelsel's Arcade. I really appreciate that. You didn't have to do that, man. Thank you so much for the super chat. When is your Star Wars coming? My Star Wars, March 25th is what it's saying right now. So we'll see. I just got my shipping notice today. My Attack from Mars and my Marvel came early, so we will see. We will see. You bet. You made me buy an Attack from Mars. I'm glad I made you buy an Attack from Mars. Awesome table. And honestly, like, it's completely changed the dynamic in my arcade. I go down there now, and I know they're new, so there's an excitement about that, but I've been playing pinball. I've got like every Arcade1Up cabinet ever made, and I'm just constantly playing pinball. And surprisingly, a lot of Marvel pinball too. That Spider-Man table is hot stuff, man. When's the MVSX coming? It's still in my cart, Kyle. I'm thinking about it, but that's the thing. Like I just dropped like what is it, $2,700 on pinball tables. So I might have to wait, and then I got to decide if I'm going to get the MVSX or if I'm going to get Outrun, and I don't know which one I want more now. Yeah, Kelsel's Arcade, 100%. Get an Attack from Mars. You got to find one. It's fantastic. Of all the Arcade1Up pinballs, that's the one to get. I really like my Marvel cab, and I'm really excited for Star Wars because I'm a big fan, and they do the music so well. I think it's going to be amazing, but yeah. And he sold me on Star Wars too. Watching him play Star Wars, that's kind of what knocked my socks off. I like the Fantastic Four table too. I'm not very good at it. I'm trying to figure out. P-Dubs told me that after watching my live stream for the Attack from Mars games, he went and scored like 90 million in Fantastic Four, and I was like, oh, this must be a high-scoring game. Then I started playing it, and I haven't been able to break 3 million, so I'm like, yeah, I got a lot of work to do on that. Scott Gray, I don't know if it was you, but someone sent me this video of this. I'm a big He-Man and the Masters of the Universe fan. That's one of the first things I fell in love with when I was a kid growing up. And someone sent me this home-built Masters of the Universe table with a Masters of the Universe game. It looks amazing. Oh my god. MVSX is great, but your 1-Up cave, Outrun is missing. I know. Outrun for sure if there's a bake-off. Watch my review, though. I like Donkey Kong on the sit-down, great stand-up. Yep. Okay. I'm going to watch your review, Kelsels. Thank you very much, WKRP in Cincinnati. You want to save your money and get Dragon's Lair? Well, there's always more money. I mentioned this in another stream I did. I quit smoking, and magically there's a lot more expendable income because of that, and I kind of quit drinking too, but that was a long time ago. So I don't have a lot of vices other than buying video games. And I'm not buying a ton of new video games anymore. So that's why I've been buying a lot of these arcade cabinets. Yeah, we are so fortunate. So Ray knows what I'm talking about. That Masters of the Universe. We need a G.I. Joe table. We need a G.I. Joe arcade. And yes, I would love to see a G.I. Joe pinball table. I don't know if there ever was one. You have to show that Motu table. It's incredible. Oh my god. Like, I was watching it and I was just like, and the song is pumping through. He-Man, dum dum. And I was like, oh my god. Whatever happened to the Polymega? I'm not sure. They had their license suspended, which tells me that maybe the thing was still running, possibly something they shouldn't have been running. So some emulation software that's not for commercial use. Looking forward to your Star Wars pinball review. I love New Hope. Yeah, Ray, it's going to be a year in July. My wife, she was really sick all last year. She was in hospital, in and out. And they tried to fix it. I don't want to tell you too much. Evening, Alan. Thank you very much for stopping by. Anyways, my wife was really sick since not this October past, but last October. And it was almost a year, and they just couldn't fix what was going wrong. She had a couple minor surgeries, so they had to finally get her in for major surgery last summer, and she was in hospital for like 2 weeks. While she was in hospital, we both smoked. They put her on the patch because she couldn't get out of her bed after the surgery. So we both made a conscious decision that was it. We were going to quit smoking, and we did. And it's going to be a year coming up in July. So that's crazy. I've smoked since I was 15 years old. So yeah. Do you think more 1-Up should have scan lines? I think all the arcade 1-Up should have scan lines as long as they can do it well, and as long as it's a feature that you can turn on and off. Saw someone post that they have been sober for 12 years. My story is not anything as interesting as that. Congratulations on your sobriety. Mine was just, I had a daughter, and, you know, I got parent crazy. I got that parent bubble, so I never wanted to be in a situation where I wasn't sober in case we had to take her to the hospital or something like that. And pretty much I just lost all interest in drinking because I wanted to be there for my kid. I don't know if that makes sense or not, or if I'm crazy and I'm being like a crazy parent, but yeah. Dinner is finally ready. Cool hangout, man. We'll look for the next one. Thank you so much, Kelsels. Thank you for coming by. Yeah, quitting has been pretty cool, actually. Like, I still think about it all the time, constantly. Me and my wife, we both really, really enjoyed it. But, I mean, you know, you're paying money to kill yourself. So, it just gave it up. But there's a lot of advantages. Like, you know, you get a different sense of smell and you get a different this. And the biggest for me is I've had more money to buy foolishness. Lost count the number of people who mentioned you sold them on the attack from Mars table. Hopefully you get the next one early. Well, I'm happy. Like, I just wanted an opportunity to, you know, get one of these in a timely manner. And, like, I had the double curse because even going back before November, we didn't even have a brick here. So, you know, we got the Golden Axe Cab before a lot of people in the U.S. But there was no brick here, so I couldn't review it early. So, you know, it was here in Canada, people were getting it, but I didn't have an early chance to get it. I would love for Arcade1Up to consider me a friend and an ally and, you know, reach out to me and try to get them to help. But, you know, I'm happy just being a fan, too, and just doing this stuff. This is pretty cool, too. How will you emulate a home arcade without the cigarette smell and the sound of the bowling balls? I have to figure that out. Do you think they will get the Wave 2 pinball machines this year or next year thing? That's the good question. The $1 million question, in fact. I think if we're going to get them this year, they're going to be announced in June. That's the truth. More realistic, maybe we'll get Wave 2 pinballs CES next year. Oh, well, yeah, the kid story is great too. Thank you very much. Man, like, Cool Toy does some really good work. And I mean, Ralph is an amazing personality. They got some good people in their influencer lineup right now. And then you've got, the guy who did the Attack from Mars, Family Gamer TV. I mean, he's a real journalist. Like, you know, he does articles for Forbes. He's a good choice. Like, they've got some good people. And then, you know, we got my friend Sean, RGT85. They sometimes do some work with him, send him cabs out. And I mean, Sean's got like 400,000 subscribers. He does video, gets some like almost 100,000 views. So, you know, they've got some good people in their fleet. I'm just happy being a fan and, you know, doing this stuff. Hopefully I can get him with the influencer program. Not the influencer, the, what was it called? The beta tester program, and get involved that way. And yeah, I'm happy to help out. Jurassic Park. I'm trying to see the time here, guys. I think we might have gone over our time limit. Just double checking. How long have we been on? I always find this so hard to find when I'm looking. And so far we have been... I have no idea. How long have we been going, guys? It should be simple. Okay, hour and 13 minutes. Well, guys, I don't know if there's anything else we need to talk about with this one. I mean, if there's anything you want to see, let me know in the comments. But, I mean, that's my place. I want to see Arcade1Up do some minor improvements, like we're talking Wi-Fi, so we can do leaderboards, and for updates, nudge buttons, and then just try to better optimize the chip that they have to have a sharper picture coming out. Next wave, I think we're going to get them either in June or at CES next year. We're going to find out, and it's going to be Star Wars 2, Marvel 2, Williams 2, and then maybe the Universal table. And then in the future, I want to see more focus on real pinball. I want to see the Zen and Arcade1Up work with Stern, work with some real pinball companies, and bring some really, really cool stuff out there. Thank you so much for the super chat. Hold fast, 75 saved. Yeah, I'm trying my best. This is the most I've ever done, but I've really been enjoying the live streaming, and I've really been enjoying talking to you guys like this. This is such a cool format. Even when I'm doing stuff like last night, I was playing the pinball. It's so hard to actually see your guys' chat and talk directly to you. So this is just fantastic. I like this so much. All right, good night, everybody. It's 12:44 a.m. here, so I should probably get some sleep at some point. All right, good night, everybody.